Chosen ones, listen closely now, because what happens next is where the story gets supernatural. The person who started this whisper campaign against you woke up 3 nights ago at exactly 3:33 a.m., drenched in sweat, heart racing like they'd been running from something invisible. They've been having the same dream over and over, standing in a room full of mirrors where every reflection shows a different lie they told about you, and in each mirror they see themselves becoming what they accused you of being. The dreams are getting more vivid, more frequent, more impossible to ignore. This is just the beginning of their unraveling, and it follows a pattern the universe has used since the beginning of time. First comes the disruption of sleep, because lies can't rest easy when truth is hunting them down. Next comes the scattering of thoughts, because a mind built on deception can't maintain its architecture when the foundation starts shifting. Then comes the public revelation, always at the moment when they feel safest, most confident, most sure that their plan has worked. Right now, while you're reading this, they're probably trying to remember what they told to whom. Their stories are starting to contradict each other, and people are beginning to notice. That friend they confided in last week heard a completely different version than the one they told yesterday. The colleague they enlisted in their campaign is starting to ask uncomfortable questions. The family member who believed every word is beginning to see patterns that don't add up. But here's where your power really shows itself. You haven't had to lift a finger, you haven't had to expose anyone or reveal any truths. The universe is doing the heavy lifting while you're simply existing in your authenticity. Every step you take in truth creates tremors in their world of lies. Every breath you take in peace disturbs their manufactured chaos. Every moment you spend thriving despite their attempts to destroy you adds another crack to their carefully constructed facade. The mathematical precision of divine justice is something to behold. For every person they turned against you, 2 are about to turn toward you with newfound respect. For every opportunity they blocked, 3 are about to open up. For every lie they spread, a dozen truths are about to surface. The universe doesn't just restore what was taken, it multiplies it, compounds it, transforms it into something far greater than what you originally lost. There's a specific person who's been weighing heavily on your mind. Someone whose opinion mattered to you, whose absence has left a void that feels impossible to fill. They believed the lies, chose the wrong side, walked away when you needed them most, but something shifted in them recently. Maybe it was a conversation that didn't quite add up, or a moment when they saw the person who poisoned them against you slip up and reveal their true nature. The spell is breaking, and they're starting to remember who you really are beneath the false narrative that was painted over your true character. This person is going to reach out to you soon, not with a simple apology, but with a complete revelation of everything they've discovered. They're going to tell you things about your enemy that you didn't even know, schemes that were planned that never came to fruition, lies that were told that you never heard. The conversation will be both vindicating and heartbreaking, because you'll finally understand the full scope of what was done to you, but you'll also see how much pain they're in for having believed it. The cosmic joke gets even better. The person who called you crazy has been documenting their own descent into madness through their very attempts to prove your instability. Every text message they sent about you, every email they wrote, every social media post they made, it all creates a timeline that clearly shows their obsession, their paranoia, their gradual loss of touch with reality. They've been creating evidence against themselves while thinking they were building a case against you. Watch what happens in the next 7 days. There will be 3 distinct moments of revelation. The first will be private, between them and someone they trust completely. They'll let their mask slip, say something that reveals the truth, and watch as the person's face changes from sympathy to suspicion. The second will be semi-public, in a group setting where they'll be challenged on their narrative and unable to maintain the lie without contradicting themselves. The third will be completely public, witnessed by everyone who matters, where the full truth explodes into the light with no possibility of denial or damage control. The protection around you isn't passive, it's active and intelligent. Every move made against you triggers a countermove from the universe. Think of it like a chess game where your opponent doesn't realize they're playing against a grandmaster who can see 20 moves ahead. They make what they think is a brilliant play, only to discover they've walked directly into a trap of their own making. The universe has been using their own moves against them, turning their offense into your defense, their attacks into your advancement. You've been building something during this time of trial, though you might not have realized it. While they were tearing down your reputation, you were building unshakable character. While they were destroying your social connections, you were strengthening your spiritual connection. While they were trying to isolate you, you were learning to stand alone with such power that you became magnetic to the right people. The very trials designed to break you have instead forged you into something unbreakable. The energy you're radiating now is different from before. People can sense it even if they can't name it. There's a gravitas to your presence, a depth to your gaze, a power in your silence that speaks louder than any words. You've transcended the need for validation because you've been validated by forces far greater than human opinion. You've moved beyond the desire for revenge because you've witnessed karma in action and know that divine justice is far more thorough than anything you could orchestrate. Something specific happened to them last Tuesday. They were in a conversation where your name came up, and for the first time, instead of people agreeing with their narrative, someone challenged it. "That doesn't sound like them," this person said. "Are you sure that's what really happened?" The doubt in that person's voice sent shockwaves through their system because it was the first crack in the dam they'd built. Since then, the cracks have been spreading, multiplying, connecting until the entire structure is about to collapse. The universe has a sense of humor about these things. The very weapon they tried to use against you, questioning your mental stability, has become the lens through which people are now viewing them. Their increasing desperation to maintain the narrative is making them act in ways that genuinely concern those around them. The paranoia about being discovered is making them paranoid in general. The stress of maintaining lies is manifesting as actual symptoms that others are beginning to notice and worry about. Here's something you need to understand about divine timing. The revelation isn't happening slowly to torture you with waiting. It's happening at precisely the pace needed to ensure complete and total vindication. Every day that passes adds another piece of evidence to the cosmic case file. Every moment of delay allows another person to position themselves to witness the truth when it arrives. The universe is orchestrating a revelation so comprehensive that there will be no room for doubt, no possibility of explanation, no chance for them to spin another narrative. The financial implications of what they did are about to become clear as well. Every opportunity they cost you had a monetary value. Every connection they severed had potential worth. Every moment of time you lost dealing with their chaos had a price. The universe keeps detailed accounts, and the bill is about to come due. Watch as they lose opportunities that mysteriously mirror the ones they cost you. Watch as their financial situation shifts in ways that precisely reflect the damage they tried to inflict on yours. But your vindication goes beyond just being proven right. You're about to be elevated to a position that would have been impossible without this trial. The very experience of being falsely accused and surviving it has qualified you for something greater. You've developed skills, insights, and strengths that can only come from walking through this particular fire. The universe didn't allow this to happen to you. It happened for you, preparing you for a destiny that required this exact refinement. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. The relationship component of this situation is particularly interesting. Whether it was romantic, familial, or friendship-based, there was a relationship at the center of this storm that meant everything to you. The person who poisoned it thought they were winning by taking it away. What they didn't understand is that relationships built on truth always find their way back to truth, while relationships built on lies always collapse into revelation. The connection they thought they severed was only temporarily redirected, and it's about to flow back with the force of a river that's been dammed too long. Pay attention to the synchronicities happening around you right now. The random encounters with people who speak exactly what you need to hear, the unexpected messages from folks you haven't heard from in years, the opportunities appearing from directions you never expected. These aren't coincidences, they're coordinates on a map leading you toward your complete restoration. The universe is arranging meetings, conversations, and revelations with the precision of a master conductor preparing for the crescendo. The person who did this to you is starting to exhibit physical symptoms of their psychological unraveling, headaches that won't go away, insomnia that medication can't touch, a nervous energy that makes them fidget constantly. Their body is rejecting the poison of their own lies, and it's manifesting in ways that are becoming impossible to hide. People are starting to ask if they're okay, if they need help, if maybe they should talk to someone. The exact concerns they tried to project onto you are becoming genuine concerns about them. But here's the plot twist within the plot twist. There's someone else involved in this situation that neither you nor your enemy fully considered. Someone who's been watching from the sidelines, taking notes, seeing everything with clear eyes. This person has information that will change everything when it comes to light. They've been waiting for the right moment to speak up, and that moment is approaching faster than anyone realizes. When they finally break their silence, it will be like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. The spiritual warfare aspect of this situation is reaching its climax. Every prayer you've prayed, every moment you've chosen faith over fear, every time you've trusted the process instead of forcing an outcome, all of it has been building toward this moment of divine intervention. The armies of heaven have been mobilizing on your behalf, and the battle that's about to be won isn't just for your vindication, but for the demonstration of what happens when someone under divine protection is attacked by forces of deception. Your enemy made a critical error in their calculations. They assumed you were alone, that once they isolated you from human support, you would crumble. What they didn't realize is that isolation from human support often leads to deeper divine connection. While they were cutting you off from earthly allies, you were building alliances with forces they can't see, can't fight, and can't understand. The very loneliness they tried to weaponize against you became the solitude in which you discovered your true power. The documentation of their downfall is being written in real time, not by human hands but by the universe itself. Every action they take to maintain their lies adds another chapter to their own cautionary tale. Every person they try to convince adds another witness to their eventual exposure. Every moment they spend in denial adds another level to the shock that's coming when reality finally breaks through. The story being written isn't just about your vindication, it's about the complete and utter collapse of a house built on sand. There's a moment coming, you'll know it when it arrives, where you'll have the opportunity to speak your truth to someone who really needs to hear it. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in the quiet confidence of someone who's already won. Your words will carry a weight that surprises even you, because they'll be backed by the authority of survived trials and earned wisdom. The person listening will be changed forever by what you share, and through them the truth will spread like wildfire through all the places lies once lived. The professional implications of this situation are about to shift dramatically in your favor. The reputation they tried to destroy in your field, your workplace, your community, it's about to be not just restored but enhanced. People will respect you more for how you handled this trial than they ever would have if the trial hadn't happened. Your story of quiet dignity in the face of false accusation will become legendary among those who know you. Opportunities that seem dead will resurrect with new life and possibility. Here's something powerful to understand. The very act of them calling you crazy was an admission that they couldn't defeat you any other way. They couldn't compete with your talent, so they attacked your stability. They couldn't match your authenticity, so they questioned your sanity. They couldn't dim your light, so they tried to convince others you were seeing things that weren't there. Every accusation was actually a confession of their own inadequacy in the face of your genuine power. The restoration that's coming isn't just about returning to where you were before this started. The universe doesn't do simple restoration, it does transformation. You're not going back to your old life, you're stepping into a new dimension of existence, where the lessons learned from this trial become the foundation for unprecedented success. The very things they used to attack you will become the qualifications for your next level. The pain they caused will become the passion that drives your purpose. Watch what happens to their support system. The people they enlisted in their campaign against you are about to face their own moment of reckoning. Some will come to you with apologies and revelations. Others will quietly distance themselves from the person they once supported, not wanting to be associated with the downfall that's coming. The army they built against you will abandon them one by one, leaving them to face the consequences of their actions alone. The final revelation is going to be something none of us saw coming. There's a piece of information, a hidden truth, a secret connection that's about to come to light that will reframe everything. When it does, even you will be shocked at the depth of deception that was attempted and the height of divine intervention that prevented it. The full story is bigger than you imagined, the protection stronger than you knew, and the vindication more complete than you dared to hope. As this chapter of your life closes and the new one begins, remember this moment. Remember how it felt to watch the universe fight your battles. Remember the power of maintaining your truth when the whole world seemed to believe lies. Remember that being called crazy by someone who's losing their mind isn't an insult. It's evidence that you're so sane, so stable, so powerful that the only way they could fight you was to try to convince others otherwise. You are not just chosen, you are championed by forces that transcend human understanding. You are not just protected, you are promoted through every trial meant to destroy you. You are not just vindicated, you are elevated to a position where those who attacked you will have to watch your success from a distance, knowing they could have been part of your journey, but chose to be obstacles instead. The person who called you crazy is about to understand what real instability looks like as their carefully constructed world collapses around them. Not because you wished it, not because you caused it, but because that's what happens when you build your life on the foundation of destroying someone else's. The universe has a perfect accounting system, and every debt is eventually paid in full. Stand tall, chosen one. Your moment isn't coming, it's here. It's now, it's unfolding with each word you listen. The plot twist of the century is complete. They called you crazy, but it was really them the whole time, and now everyone is about to know it. The timeline of their destruction is accelerating in ways that would terrify them if they could see it clearly. Every morning they wake up with a sense of impending doom they can't shake, a feeling that something's coming but they don't know what or when. Their hands shake slightly when they pour their coffee. Their voice cracks when they try to maintain their lies. Their eyes dart nervously in conversations, always looking for signs that people know more than they're saying. The paranoia they try to inject into your life has become their constant companion, whispering in their ear that today might be the day everything falls apart. But let's go deeper into what really happened when they targeted you. This wasn't random. You were selected because your light exposed their darkness simply by existing. You didn't have to say anything about their character. Your character said everything. You didn't have to reveal their secrets. Your authenticity revealed their deception. They saw in you everything they could never be, and instead of rising to meet you, they chose to try to drag you down to their level. The joke is that you can't drag down something that's anchored in divine purpose. There's a specific moment that started all of this, a moment you might not even remember because it seemed so insignificant at the time. You achieved something, received recognition, or simply showed up as your authentic self in a way that triggered their deepest insecurities. Maybe it was a promotion they wanted, a relationship they coveted, or simply the easy way you moved through the world while they struggled with every step. That moment planted a seed of envy so deep that it grew into an obsession that consumed them from the inside out. The mechanics of their campaign were more complex than you initially realized. They studied you like a scientist studies a specimen, looking for weaknesses, patterns, vulnerabilities they could exploit. They noticed who you trusted, what you valued, where you felt safest. Then they began the slow, methodical work of poisoning each of these areas. But what they didn't understand is that you can't poison a well that's fed by an underground spring of divine source. Every drop of poison they poured in was immediately purified by forces they couldn't see or understand. Right now, someone unexpected is having a conversation about you. Not the usual suspects, not the people you'd expect to defend you, but someone who seemed completely neutral in this situation. They're sharing an observation that completely contradicts the narrative that was spread about you. That's funny, they're saying, because when I worked with them, they were the most stable, reliable person on the team. These random defenders are appearing everywhere, people you barely remember, casual acquaintances who nonetheless carry credible testimony about your true character. The financial component of this divine reversal is more complex than simple restoration. Yes, you're about to receive back everything that was taken and more, but it's the more that's truly interesting. New streams of income are about to open that wouldn't have been possible without this trial. The skills you developed while surviving their attacks, the resilience, the strategic thinking, the ability to thrive under pressure, these have qualified you for opportunities that require exactly those qualities. You're about to be paid not just for your original gifts, but for the warrior you became in defending them. There's a document, a text message, an email, or some form of physical evidence that your enemy forgot exists. They were so caught up in creating new lies that they forgot about this old truth that completely contradicts everything they've been saying. It's sitting somewhere, waiting like a time bomb, and when it surfaces, and it will surface, it will be impossible to explain away. The beautiful irony is that it will likely be discovered by accident, by someone who wasn't even looking for it, at exactly the moment when its impact will be most devastating to their narrative. The health implications of carrying lies are manifesting in your enemy in ways that are becoming undeniable. Beyond the insomnia and anxiety, their body is literally rejecting the poison of their own deception, digestive issues that seem to have no cause, skin conditions that flare up without explanation, mysterious pains that medical tests can't explain. Their body is trying to purge the toxicity of their lies, but since the lies originate from within, there's nowhere for the poison to go except deeper into their system. Let's talk about the spiritual protection that's been around you this entire time. It's not just a passive shield, it's an active force that turns every attack into a blessing. Remember that relationship that ended because of their lies? It's being replaced by something so much better that you'll actually thank them for clearing the path. Remember that job opportunity that disappeared? It's being replaced by a position that aligns so perfectly with your purpose that you'll understand why the other door had to close. Every single thing they took from you is being replaced with an upgraded version. The collective consciousness around you is shifting. People who bought into the narrative about you are having moments of clarity, sudden realizations that something doesn't add up. They're remembering interactions with you that completely contradict what they were told. They're noticing that the person who painted you as unstable seems increasingly unstable themselves. It's like watching a spell break in real time, person by person, revelation by revelation, until the entire false narrative crumbles into dust. There's someone from your past who's about to re-enter your life with perfect timing. Someone who knew you before all of this started, who remembers who you really are beneath all the false layers that were painted over your reputation. Their testimony will carry weight because they have no stake in the current situation. They'll vouch for your character, not because you asked them to, but because truth compels them to speak. Their reappearance will feel like divine timing because it is. The psychological profile of someone who constructs elaborate lies about another person's mental health is fascinating. They're projecting their own instability, yes, but it goes deeper than that. They're actually confessing their deepest fear that they're the one losing touch with reality. Every accusation they made about you was actually a cry for help, a desperate attempt to externalize their internal chaos. The tragedy is that if they had sought help instead of trying to destroy you, they might have found healing. Instead, they chose destruction and sealed their own fate. Your silence during this trial has been building a reservoir of power that's about to be released. Every word you didn't speak in your own defense has been accumulating interest in the cosmic bank. Every argument you walked away from has been documented in your favor. Every time you chose peace over conflict, you were making deposits in an account that's about to pay out dividends that will transform your entire life. The universe rewards those who trust its timing over their own impulses. The strangest part of this entire situation is about to be revealed. There's a connection between you and your enemy that neither of you fully understood, a karmic thread that needed to be played out. This wasn't your first lifetime dealing with this soul, and the pattern that's playing out now is the final resolution of something that started long ago. But this time, instead of perpetuating the cycle, you broke it by refusing to retaliate. You ended a karmic loop that could have continued for lifetimes, and that's why the universe is rewarding you so magnificently. Watch what happens with their inner circle. The people closest to them are starting to see behind the mask, and what they're seeing disturbs them. The friend who always supported them is starting to notice inconsistencies. The family member who believed every word is starting to ask uncomfortable questions. The partner who stood by them is starting to wonder what else they've lied about. The isolation they tried to create around you is manifesting around them, but unlike your divine solitude, theirs is the genuine loneliness of someone whose deceptions have been discovered. The universal law of reflection is working overtime in this situation. Every quality they accused you of possessing is manifesting in their own life with mathematical precision. They called you unstable. Watch their life become increasingly chaotic. They said you were delusional. Watch them lose touch with reality. They claimed you were dangerous. Watch them become a danger to their own well-being. It's not karma in the traditional sense. It's the universe showing them their own reflection in the mirror of their false accusations. There's going to be a public moment that changes everything. Not public as in social media, but public as in witnessed by the people who matter. It might be at a gathering, a meeting, an event, or just a random encounter where the truth explodes into the open with no possibility of containment. Your enemy will say something, do something, or reveal something that completely exposes their true nature and validates everything you've been through. The beauty is that you won't have orchestrated it. The universe will have set the stage perfectly. The dreams you've been having lately aren't just dreams, they're downloads from the divine showing you what's coming. Those vivid scenes of vindication, success and restoration aren't wishful thinking, they're preview screenings of your near future. Your subconscious is being prepared for the massive shift that's about to occur in your waking life. Pay attention to these dreams, especially the recurring ones, because they contain specific information about how to navigate the blessings that are about to flood into your life. Your enemy's support system is experiencing a fascinating phenomenon. One by one, the people they enlisted in their campaign against you are having their own trials that mirror what they helped put you through, not as punishment, but as education. They're learning firsthand what it feels like to be falsely accused, to have their character questioned, to have their stability doubted. These experiences are creating empathy that will eventually lead many of them back to you with apologies and newfound respect. The creative force that was suppressed in you during this trial is about to explode with unprecedented power. All the energy you couldn't express, all the projects you couldn't pursue, all the ideas you couldn't manifest, they've been building pressure like a creative volcano. When this situation resolves, and it's resolving now, that creative force is going to erupt with such magnitude that you'll accomplish more in the next few months than you did in the previous few years. The suppression wasn't stopping you, it was building momentum. There's a child, either literal or symbolic, who's been watching this entire situation unfold. They've been learning lessons about integrity, truth, and divine justice that will shape their entire worldview. Your handling of this trial has become a teaching moment that will ripple through generations. The way you maintained your dignity, trusted the process, and refused to stoop to your enemy's level has created a template for handling injustice that will inspire others long after this situation is resolved. The technology of divine intervention is fascinating to observe. It's not random or chaotic, it's precise, calculated, and perfectly timed. Every piece is moving into position with the accuracy of a Swiss watch. The person who needs to discover the truth is being guided toward the information. The conversation that needs to happen is being orchestrated. The evidence that needs to surface is being prepared for revelation. It's like watching a master chess player who can see 50 moves ahead, except the chess player is the universe itself. Your enemy is about to make a critical mistake. In their desperation to maintain the crumbling narrative, they're going to overreach, say too much, or do something that completely exposes their true nature. It will be something they can't take back, can't explain away, can't spin into another lie. This mistake has actually already been made in the spiritual realm. It's just waiting to manifest in the physical. When it does, it will be so obvious, so undeniable, that even their most loyal supporters will step back in shock. The muscle memory of truth is something your enemy never developed. You can see it in how hard they have to work to maintain their lies, how exhausted they are from keeping track of their stories, how stressed they are from the constant vigilance required to maintain a false narrative. Meanwhile, you move through the world with the ease of someone who never has to remember what they said because they always speak truth. That ease, that naturalness, that authenticity, it's becoming more and more apparent to everyone watching. The economic implications of this reversal extend beyond just your personal finances. Opportunities are about to open that affect your entire lineage, your entire community, everyone in your sphere of influence. The abundance that's coming isn't just for you, it's through you to bless others. You're about to become a conduit for resources that will transform not just your life, but the lives of those you're called to serve. The enemy tried to cut off your provision, not realizing they were actually clearing the path for a river of abundance. There's a moment of reckoning coming for your enemy that will be both devastating and liberating. Devastating because they'll finally see the full scope of what they've done and what they've become. Liberating because living in lies is its own form of imprisonment, and even though the truth will hurt, it will also offer the possibility of redemption. Not redemption in your eyes, that's not your responsibility, but redemption in their own soul's journey. Their breakdown is actually a breakthrough if they choose to see it that way. The witnesses to your vindication are being strategically positioned right now. The universe is ensuring that the right people are in the right place at the right time to see the truth revealed. These aren't random observers, they're specifically chosen individuals whose testimony will carry weight, whose influence matters, whose validation will amplify your restoration. Some of these witnesses are people you've never met, but who will play crucial roles in your next chapter. The pattern of your trials has actually been preparing you for a specific destiny that required these exact experiences. You couldn't have been equipped for what's coming without going through what you've gone through. The false accusations taught you discernment. The isolation taught you self-reliance. The betrayal taught you boundaries. The injustice taught you compassion. Every painful experience was actually a training module for the leadership position you're about to step into. Your enemy's family is starting to notice changes that concern them. The person they thought they knew is behaving in ways that don't make sense. The stories aren't adding up. The obsession with destroying you is consuming them in ways that are affecting every relationship they have. Some family members are starting to research narcissistic behavior, pathological lying, and other conditions that might explain what they're witnessing. The person who tried to diagnose you with mental illness is about to receive their own diagnosis. The legal implications of what was done to you are more serious than anyone initially realized. While you may choose not to pursue legal action, the documentation exists. The defamation, the intentional infliction of emotional distress, the potential criminal harassment, it's all there, recorded in the universe's filing system. This documentation serves as protection for you and warning for them. They'll spend the rest of their lives looking over their shoulder, wondering if today is the day you decide to seek legal justice. The spiritual awakening that's happening in you as a result of this trial is the real victory. You've discovered powers within yourself you didn't know existed. You've accessed levels of faith you didn't know were possible. You've developed a connection to the divine that no human can sever. This awakening is permanent, irreversible, and continuously expanding. Irreversible and continuously expanding. The enemy gave you the greatest gift possible. They forced you to discover who you really are when everything else is stripped away. There's a book, a story, a testimony inside you that will one day help millions of people going through similar trials. Your experience isn't just for you, it's for the collective healing of everyone who's been falsely accused, wrongly persecuted, or unjustly attacked. The details of your story contain medicine that others desperately need. The way you handled this trial, the dignity you maintained, the faith you exhibited, it's all being documented for a purpose bigger than you currently understand. The energetic signature of your enemy is becoming increasingly distorted. People who are sensitive to energy can feel it. Something's off, something's dark, something's unstable. They might not be able to articulate it, but they find themselves uncomfortable in your enemy's presence. Meanwhile, your energetic signature is becoming increasingly bright, clear, and magnetic. People are drawn to you without knowing why, trusted you instinctively, want to be in your presence because it feels safe, stable, and authentic. The restoration of your reputation is happening in stages, each one more powerful than the last. First, the close circle who never believed the lies. Then, the acquaintances who are starting to question what they heard. Next, the strangers who are hearing your true story for the first time. Finally, the complete public vindication that leaves no doubt about your character. Each stage builds on the previous one, creating a momentum of truth that becomes impossible to stop. The fascinating thing about divine justice is that it's restorative, not just punitive. Yes, your enemy will face consequences, but the universe is more interested in restoring you than punishing them. Your elevation is the priority, your healing is the focus, your destiny is the point. They're just a footnote in your story, a catalyst that activated something within you that was always there, waiting for the right pressure to transform you from carbon to diamond. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random, and if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. The number of people praying for you, thinking about you, and sending you positive energy is far greater than you realize. Some are people you know who've been quietly supporting you from afar. Others are complete strangers who heard your story and felt compelled to send light your way. There's an invisible army of supporters surrounding you, and their collective energy is contributing to the massive shift that's occurring. You were never as alone as you felt. The specific way this is all going to climax is already written in the cosmic script. There will be a moment, a specific moment, when everything changes. It might be a phone call, a revelation, a public incident, or a private discovery, but when it happens, you'll know immediately that this is it, the moment of complete reversal. Everything before that moment will feel like one chapter, and everything after will feel like a completely different book. The shift will be that dramatic, that complete, that undeniable. As we approach the final act of this divine drama, remember that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not just being vindicated, you're being elevated. You're not just being restored, you're being transformed into something far more powerful than you were before this began. The person who called you crazy gave you the greatest gift possible. They forced you to prove, beyond any shadow of doubt, that you're not just sane, you're supernatural. You're not just stable, you're unshakable. You're not just innocent, you're divinely protected and chosen for greatness. The final plot twist is this: one day, your enemy will need the very strength, stability and sanity they accused you of lacking. They'll find themselves in a situation where only someone who's walked through false accusation and survived can understand their pain, and in that moment they'll realize the full magnitude of what they tried to destroy. They tried to eliminate the very person who could have helped them heal. They tried to destroy the very light that could have shown them the way out of their own darkness. Your story is becoming legend, chosen one. Not because you sought fame or recognition, but because truth has a way of spreading like wildfire once it's fully revealed. People will talk about how you handled this trial for years to come. Your example will become a template for others facing similar situations. Your victory will become proof that divine justice is real, that truth eventually prevails, and that being called crazy by someone who's losing their mind is actually confirmation that you're exactly where you need to be. Stand in your power now. The verdict has already been delivered in the spiritual realm. It's just manifesting in the physical. You are vindicated, you are restored, you are elevated, you are chosen, and everyone, including the person who started all of this, is about to know it.